Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Live edition of Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, right there in the state of Florida and right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Also, Comfort Tip Heating Air is your number one local HVAC company. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Today's show, Brent Beaird, and you have JC with Win with JC. I want to thank Graham Hall and Seth Hart for taking care of business while I was gone. I'm back. Let's rock and roll. Let's go straight to the Titan Emerald Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. And we're joined by our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How you doing?
Good morning, Shane. Good to be on with you. It's the temperature is moderating a little bit, but college football is still hot stuff as it continues into another week with some more big games this week.
Yes. Let's jump right into it, Brent. The playoff rankings came out Tuesday night. Any surprise?
Not particularly. We thought Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Bama, and Georgia would be in the top five, but we've also got teams that are pretty steady. Notre Dame is number 9. A lot of people think they're going to run the table. They've got a big game with Pitt that is coming up. Number 10, Texas is at Georgia. 11, Oklahoma is at Alabama. So those are two of the bigger games going on anywhere. Shane, I still have to do a double take when I see Vanderbilt this close to being in the playoffs. Vandy is 14, Miami is 15, and maybe even a bigger double take sometimes is Georgia Tech at 16. So now again, we're only going with 12. I do think we're going to 16 either next year or the year after that, but it's fascinating to see some of these teams that, to their credit, have moved up in the rankings.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that surprised me, I didn't get to see the show Tuesday. I just saw the next day. I totally forgot Oklahoma still has a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they do.
It's almost like with their 2 losses, you just kind of wrote them off, but they're still in the hunt. So
yeah.
very interesting. Brent, there's A&M has a very good chance making the SEC championship game, but there's a possibility they don't play any of the good teams in the conference.
What about that? Boy, Shane, what are the odds that you'd have a schedule that you don't play Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, or Vanderbilt? That's almost a mathematical impossibility, isn't it? But that's what it is. And you've got other schools. Ohio State's similar. Without playing Oregon, Indiana, Iowa, and USC. So, look, as you said over the past, it's not so much that you're this invincible team to beat as much as it's you get a break with schedule, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, very, very true. You got to get lucky with your schedule, and everybody talked about how hard our schedule was, which I guess it was, but some of the teams that we thought were going to be very good hadn't panned out. We were one of them. So, let's see. Let's scroll down here. Let's go ahead and get into. You think USF, Brent, is going to make the playoffs from the group of 5? That whole thing's a mess because I think it was last Friday night when Tulane went and upset Memphis. I feel like it's still wide open. I haven't looked at those teams' schedules all in the same conference, but who do you think's going to make it out of there?
Well, I would say at this point they've got a good enough shot as really anybody does. And as far as South Florida and their schedule, I mean, I give them some credit. They have played pretty well. South Florida, Boise State, Florida, Miami, Charlotte, North Texas, FAU, Memphis, UTSA. So I guess just playing Boise, Florida, and Miami with the strength of schedule, and that's a big deal, frankly, with this committee. I think that's helped them maybe as much as anything else in USF right now, number 24, and they've also got a coaching staff that is coveted by some teams. So the question is, Shane, could they go to the playoffs and their staff leave after this year?
Yeah. We got a text here from Rick in Jupiter. Says QB on the Bill King show yesterday, he talked about introducing Jimmy Sexton to Chris Lowe and how they became fast friends. He also said Chris Lowe has said publicly that Lane is leaving Ole Miss, but doesn't mention to where. I think that if Lane leaves, it's for the Gators and no other schools or NFL. What do you think? I think he's the Gator coach. He also says, which quarterbacks have been a bigger disappointment with the preseason hype, Nussmeier, Lagway, or Manning? I'm going to say Garrett Nussmeier. And the reason I say that, the dude threw for over 4,000 yards in the SEC last year.
He did, yes.
And it's just been it's been mind-blowing how he's played this year.
Yes, it has. They've been a dysfunctional mess. I mean, he was actually benched during the Alabama game, and he has just struggled. Number one, I don't think he's healthy. I think that's a lot of it. But they are. I mean, the whole team's just a mess right now. Frankly, that doesn't mean the right guy can't fix it, because you and I both know they've got tremendous athletes at this point. But I would agree with that. I think Nussmeier has struggled as much as anybody. He doesn't have a lot of mobility, which hurts him. But still, it's been a long season for him.
Yeah, really. I got a couple of people on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Is Lennar Sellers calling it quits and going into the portal, Brent? Have you heard that?
Well, what I have heard is that he is not going to be there next year. And one of the schools that they think he is going to might be Miami. So that's something to look for. I mean, South Carolina is really struggling at this point, and I mean, it might be possible that he doesn't play much anymore. But at the same time, that's the main thing I've heard. That I've seen and heard of him being linked with the Canes after this year.
Interesting. I think he's a terrible fit for that offense.
Yeah, good point.
Look, he can't throw completions, man. I don't know what these people look at.
Yeah,
I mean, watch
really.
the tape. You cannot play quarterback. You know, I would love to pull up the definition of quarterback in the Webster's dictionary. I don't know if it says a guy who can run everywhere and run over you, or if it's a guy who can throw completions.
Yeah,
if you can do both, you're pretty damn good. But my
you
goodness,
are.
it's mind-blowing to me. It goes to the NFL people too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Brett, these odds come out in Vegas for coaches. Get real quick. We got a bunch of. I had a text on the Titan More text line. Wanting your thoughts. Do you think Nick Saban is a actual candidate to be the next LSU coach?
No, I don't. I really don't. And I know this sounds silly, but his wife wants him to stay retired. And B, look, Saban's. I mean, he's on game day with ESPN. I mean, he enjoys his life right now. He's with his family, and the other big thing for Saban is he doesn't like what is going on in the game at this point. He doesn't like having to deal with NIL and all that goes along with it. I mean, he could. I mean, LSU could tempt him. But frankly, I think all in all, I believe he stays retired.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This text on the Titan More text line says Shane asked Brent if he's in favor of getting rid of the SEC championship game.
That actually has become a something to think about. I would have never dreamed that would happen because of the money that's in that game. And I don't know what they would do at that point to determine a champion if you just go on, the record and they come up with some kind of a formula. I mean, I get the question, I really do, and I get the question that they're struggling with what to do with it. But I mean, there's still something that is important about being in a game and winning your championship.
Yeah.
But the playoff is the playoff has watered it down to the point. Shane, I will be interested to see what they do with that. That's been a real topic of discussion. But I think for the here and the now, that we will continue to have them because how much money is generated from TV and all that goes with it.
Nobody will ever change my mind on this. There's no greater sporting event than the SEC championship game, regardless of who's playing in it. The atmosphere
Yeah,
is like no other.
it is.
Um, I hear people say, what if so and so gets hurt in the game? Well, that same person or players can get hurt in the first drive of a playoff game.
Yeah,
So
they
I
can.
don't buy that one bit because maybe it's because the guy I played for. He valued championships. He
He
valued
did.
playing for something. And that's stuff that you'll remember the rest of your lives if you win an SEC
Absolutely.
championship game. Okay. You can still go win the national championship. It's perfectly legal to win the SEC or the Big Ten championship game
Yeah,
and then go win the national
yeah,
title. So I don't think they get rid of them. I hope they don't get rid of them because I think it's very important when it comes to college athletics. But that's just my 2 cents.
yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
hear you.
all right, Brent, let's go to the SEC. Big game in Tuscaloosa. Has Oklahoma ever played in Tuscaloosa?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
But Shane, let me say it like this: they have, but they weren't a member of the SEC
Right,
back then.
right.
Yeah, yes. But as far as a member of the SEC, I don't think. No, I don't think they have.
So, how do you see this game playing out?
Well, this is going to be a difficult game. I think it's going to be a close game. The problem with Alabama right now is they've got one of the better passing attacks in the league, but they can't run the ball at all. And that's a problem when you're one dimensional against what might be the best defense in the league. I mean, Oklahoma leads the SEC in scoring defense and in total defense, too. So it's going to be very important for Alabama to protect Ty Simpson during this game. He's taken 3 sacks in the last 3 games, which is not too bad, frankly. Now, last year was a disaster for Alabama in Oklahoma. Oklahoma was struggling. Alabama went down there and Oklahoma won the game. It wasn't even close. Alabama's got a better quarterback this year and Simpson than they had last year. But again, I mean, even in the LSU win, Alabama only had 100 yards of offense and 3 points in the second half of that game. Oklahoma leads the nation in tackles for loss with 97. Indiana's second, by the way. People might want to know that with 85. Now the Sooners have lost 2 of 4 against Ole Miss and against Texas. They've struggled on offense somewhat. I think my question for you is, John Mateer had hand surgery.
Yeah.
Now they think he is pretty close to being healthy. Before the hand injury, he threw for 6 touchdowns and rushed for 5. After hand surgery, he's thrown for 2 touchdowns and rushed for 1. So, Shane, I give him credit for being back, but they're just not sure if he's totally over that surgery yet.
He hasn't been the same, I will
He
say
hasn't,
that.
has he?
No. Atlantic Roofing, your roofing experts for residential and commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. Brent, Arkansas, LSU, you got 2 interim coaches. I got a funny feeling Arkansas is going to win this game. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but It'll be interesting to see what the crowd's like in Baton
It will
Rouge.
be. Yeah, I agree with that very much. Arkansas is certainly struggled. They look good earlier in the year. A lot is going on about who's going to be the coach. Bobby Petrino's still in there. He's trying, but he needs some wins. The look, the LSU situation is a convoluted mess. The it's just really the Attorney General in the state of Louisiana is reviewing the lawsuit involved with the coaching change here. There's a lot of hope that LSU keeps Blake Baker, who came over from Missouri. He's the D coordinator. He's done a pretty good job. Michael Van Buren, they wonder if they're going to go to him. We were talking about Nussmeier a few minutes ago. Van Buren is not a great passer, and Nussmeier is a much better passer, but Van Buren is a better rusher, frankly. So, boy, this is a game between two teams that need a win, don't they, Shane?
They very much do so. Gators traveled to Oxford. Ole Miss has not, they've only beaten the Gators twice in Oxford. I think it's like 1935 and 2002. Ron Zook was the head coach. Boy, I don't know what to make of this game, Brent. Ole
Yeah,
Miss
I
has to
agree.
play, they have so much to play for, as they did last year against us.
Yep, they do.
Give me your thoughts on the Gators heading to Oxford.
Well, certainly hope that Florida plays better in this game. The loss to Kentucky was the Gators' worst loss since 1950 when Bear Bryant was coaching Kentucky. So it's been a while. I hear Caleb Banks' foot is doing much better. That they're hoping he may be able to get back. You would probably know more about that before the end of the year. Well, obviously Lagway was benched, but I believe he'll be back and he'll be playing. Also, I thought this was kind of interesting. Jalen Farmer, if you remember that name, was at Florida a couple of years ago, transferred to Kentucky, allowed only one sack in all of 2024, and now is the reigning SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. So that's a little bit unusual. Tramell Jones got a shot at played a little bit with that too. Ole Miss is kind of firing on all cylinders. He won Lacey as number 2 rusher in the league, frankly. But I'll be curious what you think of Ole Miss, Shane, when you see them up close. That they're playing well and just kind of hurling toward the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they are what they are. I mean, they had a better team, I thought, last year than they do now.
Yeah, some truth to
But
that, I
their
guess.
running back, Keywan Lacey's phenomenal.
Yes.
They got great skill guys. Should be a fun evening there in the Grove. All right, the big one in the conference is kind of a loser leave town. Loser is out of the playoffs probably. Georgia hosts the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, this is a huge game, and this is the Saturday night game for people who can watch it, depending on what carrier you've got. Texas leads the SEC in rush defense. I thought that was interesting. 78 yards a game, but Georgia's 4th, only allowing 100, so probably going to be tough to run. The playoffs, as Shane mentioned, certainly on the line. Georgia struggles on the first drive on defense, but they get things together quickly. I thought one thing that was interesting about this game is on the second series, Georgia played Mississippi State last week. They had a situation where they had 7. It was either true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores on defense, which tells you their defense is going to be good for a while. But Georgia can run the ball, unlike some of the other top teams in the conference, like Alabama. I mean, Nate Frazier, 181 yards. So he's doing well. This is the stat I was looking for. Mississippi State on their second drive, Georgia's defense had 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and 7 either sophomores, true freshmen, or freshmen. So, Shane, that's pretty good for the future for the Georgia defense, isn't it?
You would think, but hell, some of those guys could transfer.
Well, they could. It's a different day, and
Yeah.
I'm also curious, real quick. Are you impressed with Gunnar Stockton and how he's improved over the last few games?
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of him, even last year when he played in the playoffs. He's got that, he's just a winner, Brent. You can tell when a guy plays, he
Yes.
knows he's going to win football games and his team believes in him. Just a gritty player, and he's had a heck of a year. He played really well against Mississippi State this past week. I think what a lot of people are that haven't, they kind of wrote Texas off, I guess, after we beat
Yep.
them, but they've gone on a good little run, and Arch Manning has
They have.
played pretty damn well, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah. He has 18 touchdowns, 6 receptions, 63%. Now he's ran for 203 yards and 6 touchdowns, so he's a dual threat quarterback. But no, I would agree with that totally. They have shown some incredible improvement, frankly. And Shane, there's a little bit of thought. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but could they get into the playoffs if they're like 9-3? Now you beat Georgia, and you're certainly likely to go, frankly. So that there's a little bit of thought about that, which would be give some credence to your point that they've really improved. They really have.
Michael from Tennessee on the Take No More Tech sign says, have you heard that Napier was at Georgia's practice on Tuesday? Also, I've heard that he's accepted the role of recruiting specialist at Georgia. Do you think if it's true, he will start by poaching some of Florida's players? If true, could that be considered tampering? I will give Napier, he was a good recruiter. He cannot develop talent. I know he's at the practice. Does not bother me one bit. He's fired. Kirby's a good friend of his. Dude, I think what people don't realize is, I think a lot of Gator fans, I don't know, I'm just assuming here, Brent, because I do think Lane Kiffin will be our coach next year.
Right.
He is very good friends with Kirby Smart.
Sure.
Okay. As is Billy Napier. Kirby's a great guy. I love Kirby.
Yeah.
But they're all friends because they've all coached at some point together with one another.
Absolutely.
What Billy Napier does now that he's not your coach, I would not worry about it. If he takes some players, he takes some players. I don't know. I don't believe that he's working for Georgia. I think that's
no. I agree with that. I mean, he just showed up. Now, could something happen after the season? We don't know that. That's a possibility, but you're right. I mean, no, I don't. I think he was just there, as a friend, watching practice as much as anything else.
Yeah. Brent, there's been a lot of talk out there all over Twitter. And of course, you can't believe everything you read on Twitter, but Arkansas supposedly hiring some big name coach. Do you have any idea who it's going to be?
I mean, they've got money in order to do that. Frankly, the names that you hear. I mean, the latest head coaching. These are the odds. Some of this you can believe, some of it you can't. Nick Saban to LSU, Lane Kiffin to Florida, Brian Hartline to Penn State, John Sumrall to Auburn, Ryan Silverfield to Arkansas, Eric Morris to Oklahoma State, and Jed Fish, who has Florida ties, to UCLA. Now, look, there's no guarantee none of this is going to happen at this point. Now, Arkansas's got money. There's no doubt about that. But Arkansas's problem, and Shane, this is where we're getting with some of this, that some of these teams who are firing coaches, and there's something wrong with this, may end up hiring coordinators because there aren't enough head coaches to go around. Let's just pretend some of these coaches get a raise at wherever they're coaching right now, and they stay, how is that going to affect the pecking order? So, I don't know unless someone thinks Gruden's going to Arkansas or something like that. But that's kind of what we're seeing right now is more. And there's nothing wrong with him, but Ryan Silverfield at Memphis has done a good job. But that's one of the names connected with him right now.
Yeah. Dan on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, Brent, who's going to Mississippi?
Well, that's a good. Now, I have. I get that. I have heard that they may take a hard look at Pete Golding, the D coordinator. Now, he has not been a head coach. He did a good job at Alabama. He's done a good job at Ole Miss. So that's one of the names that you hear if they want to just do something quickly and keep someone at home, shall we say. But as Shane knows, one of the things we've got going on is you've got recruiting and signing day that is, frankly, Shane, not far away, right? So some of these schools are thinking about that too, is how can we salvage a signing day and still get a new head coach? It's not an easy thing to deal with, is it?
No, there's a lot going on, but there's a lot going on behind the closed doors.
Yes.
Brent, give us a few nuggets before we get you out of here.
Yep, glad to be able to do that. Some game. By the way, Auburn is off this week. If people wonder why we haven't talked about them, I still hear a little bit about DJ Durkin, their D coordinator, being involved. They think he's done a pretty good job. Cohen, their AD, is going to be handling that situation, and we'll see kind of where that goes. The coaching carousel right now is almost getting more attention than the games are. Kentucky hosts Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech's a really good team, by the way, and you really kind of wonder now, after Kentucky has beat Auburn, if there's a chance that Stoops is going to save his job. Mississippi State at Missouri. Missouri really struggling. They're down to the third-string quarterback, but Brennan Thompson, their wide receiver, has been a real plus for them. So keep that in mind all the way. And then South Carolina at Texas A&M. Texas A&M really playing well. A lot of rumors, as we mentioned, about Lenore Sellers transferring to Miami and being out of there. So and Vanderbilt is off. If people wonder why we haven't talked about them, that will be why. 8-2 and playing very well. And right now, Shane, when we touch on the ACC a little bit, I won't go into detail about it, but with the losses that a lot of these teams have gone through the last 2 weeks, there's some thought about the ACC only getting maybe one team in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Brent, great stuff as always. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
Good. Always enjoy it, bud. Take care. Have a great week.
That's Brent Beaird, a college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter. The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try the mango martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors and find your favorite at shopjfhaydens.com. Take a quick time out, come back. We'll continue the program with Win with JC. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, UF Health Orthopedics. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker's Sports, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, and MG&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you want to advertise, give my man Freddie a call at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila. Aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Okay, thank you, Shane. Welcome to Win with JC. This is the 30-minute segment that we look at the games this weekend that we might try to take advantage of and be opportunistic and win some money. I'll tell you, we've been doing this show now. I think this is the fourth show we've done. We're going to go through football season and basketball season, but I got to say, last week was one of those weekends where you just take the videotape of the game and you toss it in the bucket. Let's take a quick look. Zach, the great Zach Rothrock, will be joining us. Cash or trash? Well, we had the Iowa game. That won. Then we had the Eagles in a snoozer at Green Bay, and we took the Lions in a blowout at Washington. But look at the losers. Auburn loses by a half a point to Vanderbilt in overtime. They were winning the entire stinking game under that spread, covering that number. Memphis was never in it against Tulane. What a joke. They're trying to play for a playoff spot. They get blown out at home by these guys. And then you've got Missouri, never was in that game. Terrible pick on our part. NFL losers. I mean, this was awful. Tampa Bay gets bombed by New England at home. Too many injuries with Tampa Bay. Everybody knows that. Carolina scores 7 against the Saints. They suck. They lose. Buffalo gets blown out at Miami. That was a joke. And then we lost the Denver game, laying 9.5 on Thursday night in a absolute snooze fest. Another one. So we're going to try to right the ship, as they say in the Navy. We're going to get things together, and we're going to take a look at some of the games this weekend in college pro. We're also going to look at the odds for the national championship for teams in the Southeastern Conference, because we've got some games this week, folks, that are going to really form, I think, the seedings and who will be meeting in Atlanta here in a couple of weeks for the SEC championship game. First, we have the Florida Gators. The Florida Gators and the Mississippi Rebels. Lane Kiffin. Is he going to be Florida's coach? Yeah, he will be at the Grove. This game is an evening game. They're very excited about this game in Mississippi, Zach, because they hate the fact that the team coming in town is going to try to hire their coach. And if you have watched Shane Matthews on this program for the last month, and if you've talked to other people in the know, if you will, if you heard Noah Brindise at the Gator Quarterback Club over the week or just the other day, Lane Kiffin's your coach. He's going to be your Florida coach. But then you talk to some Ole Miss folks who seem to be very comfortable with their knowledge of what their coach is going to do, and they say there's no chance he's going to come down and try to adjust and correct the dumpster fire in Gainesville. So what about this game? This is what I care about. This weekend, this game, how are we going to make some money? Well, Zach, we saw the Gators literally quit last week against Kentucky. I don't think there's any question about it. They just folded. They have played really hard defensively this season. Offensively, very inconsistent. Their numbers in the SEC and nationally on the offensive side of the ball have been abysmal. Whatever you want to say about DJ Lagway, he has not had a good season. That goes without saying. We've got injuries all over the place. Florida is coming in as the line opened at 14. I'm sorry, it opened at 13. It's gone up as high as 16.5. Right now in Hard Rock, Mississippi is laying 14.5 points to the Florida Gators. Mississippi is 13, 22-2, 37% against the spread in SEC conference games since 2002. I did not know they were that bad against the spread. But as a big home favorite, laying 12 points or more in the SEC, they're 43%. So they're not a great big favorite as well. This is a dangerous game. Is this too many points to be laying to an SEC opponent who is really reeling right now at home?
It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot of points. I do think that the one thing that you would have going for you if you were an Ole Miss bettor is you're going to have the no mercy insurance, as in Lane Kiffin, if he has an opportunity to run up the score, he will run up the score. So I don't think you got to worry about it as far as that goes. I don't see.
Do you trust the Gators? Do you trust the Gators to play hard this time?
Definitely not. Definitely not on the road. I know that this isn't Billy Napier as the head coach, but Billy Napier's team still, and his team has not done well on the road, particularly in the SEC and big games. I just don't see how you can trust him. But if you went with the Gators, it would simply be because you think that number is too large, but I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking your way. I hate the fact that we're looking at a possible repeat of last weekend. But if Florida falls behind early in this game, it's going to be hard to see them covering that number. You may want to look at a live number if the Gators really fall behind, hoping for a backdoor scenario. I can't see Florida winning this game, and I can't see Florida staying inside of 2 touchdowns. So I'm kind of with you on that. Florida, 14.5 is not enough. I would take Ole Miss. All right, there's some we've got some folks here on YouTube that want to chime in. We've got Barone71. What are your thoughts on the Notre Dame game and then the USAF game? All right, let's take a look at that. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish will be playing this weekend as a big favorite at Pitt. This is a big number. I mean, this is a big number. Notre Dame is 4-5 against the spread. Pitt is 7-2, 7-2 against the spread. Pittsburgh has won 5 straight games straight up and against the spread. They won outright as a double-digit favorite, as we remember, at Florida State. Pitt's playing good. That number has now gone up to 12.5. I'm taking the home team into 12.5 points against Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's playing good football, but Notre Dame is not playing America's best. They have a tough game at Pittsburgh this weekend. I like the 12.5, and I like the home team.
Yeah, I always like a big home dog. That stadium in Pittsburgh is always really bad conditions typically. It looks like there could be rain on the later part of that game towards the later afternoon, so it could be one of those mucky, muddy type of games. And if it's one of those, there probably won't be a whole lot of scoring. And with that being the case, if you take the team that gets 12.5 points, you're probably sitting pretty good.
Well, I like that. I will take it. Alpha Gator USA. JC, my bookie, says hi and thank you for your service. All right. Alpha Gator, we appreciate you, brother, and thank you for watching. All right, listen. I mean, I got to take the points. A home dog getting 12.5, and this is not a shitty team. So let's take Pittsburgh. How about the game that Barone also wanted to talk about, the South Florida Bulls? The South Florida Bulls laying 10.5. They are at the Navy. Navy as a favorite in the ACC. Well, actually, all favorites in the ACC or AAC, excuse me, right. 7-12. They are. I beg your pardon. They are 74, 49, and 60% as favorites in that conference since 2015. USF is a big favorite here. I think Navy is struggling. I don't think Bo Horvath is totally healthy in this game. I'm going to take USF and I'm going to lay the 10.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I didn't see anything from Navy last week that leads me to believe that they shouldn't. I feel like the number on the total is humongous, 64.5. I feel like that's a huge. I would take the under on that.
That seems very big. That seems very big. But South Florida, I mean, dude, Golish has got these guys going up and down the field.
Yeah, that would be the reason.
Offensive efficiency for South Florida is extremely efficient. So I like South Florida. I like laying the 10.5. Couple other quick games here. Michigan State. This is a game nobody's got on their radar screen, but listen, all tickets cash the same. I just plucked this one out of the sky. Michigan State is getting 7.5 against Penn State. Now, Michigan State's coming off a bye. Penn State hasn't won a Big Ten game. I don't know if Michigan State has one either. But the key in this game for me is not just the 7.5 that they're getting at home. They have a new quarterback. Jonathan Smith, the coach, has replaced Aiden Shiles. He's taken him out. The new quarterback comes in a close loss to Minnesota in their last game and throws for 467 total yards. So, in this particular game against Minnesota, the new quarterback is a game changer for the Spartans. I also have noticed that Penn State is coming off probably one of the hardest losses you'll ever see when Indiana tiptoes into the end zone on basically under 30 seconds to win the game, and Penn State ruined the upset. I don't know if Penn State can get off the map. I like Michigan State +7. Their cross-state friend Michigan is playing at Northwestern. This game is in Wrigley Field in Chicago. Michigan beat Purdue by 5 points I think 2 weeks ago. Blair Underwood has thrown, did you know this quarterback for Michigan has thrown 5 touchdowns all season long? He's just thrown 5 touchdowns. They also are missing their leading runner in this game, Justice Haynes. He will be out. He's run for over 800 yards this year. Michigan is not a good offensive football team. Northwestern's is not a good football team, period. But if you're going to give me 12 points at home, again, another big dog, I think Northwestern is live in this game. And I'd even look at the money line, because I just think Michigan is ripe to lose something.
Yeah, and that feels very similar to that the Pittsburgh scenario with the getting the points. It's a neutral field.
It's a lot of points.
Oh,
So far, we've got a lot of dogs here. We've got Michigan State at home getting points. We've got Northwestern at Wrigley Field getting points. We've got Pittsburgh at home against Notre Dame getting points. And believe me, if I go 2-1 on those 3, I'd be thrilled. But I just like the points in these games for whatever reason. Now, here's some favorites for you. The big games in the SEC. Zach, you know as well as I do that Georgia is a team that just refuses to lose unless they play Alabama. They are playing Texas. Now, have you looked at this game with Texas and Georgia? This is the highlighted game in the SEC. It's a 7:30 kickoff at Athens. This will be coming after the Alabama-Oklahoma game. We'll touch on that in a moment. But Georgia is laying 6 points to the Texas Longhorns. The Dogs are 4-5 against the spread. Texas is 2-7 against the spread. So these teams have losing records against the spread. What do you do? Well, statistical advantages in opponent-adjusted net yards per play favors Texas. In net points per play favors Texas. In net red zone scoring favors Texas. But Georgia has scored more points per game, and they have a higher net touchdown rate. Whatever all that means, I think we're looking at a low defensive struggle. The under is 48.5. The over-under is 48.5. I'll go under the 48.5, and I'm taking Georgia. I am tired of betting against the Bulldogs and getting my ass handed to me. Give me Georgia -6 at home. I don't think Arch Manning is that great. I know they're playing better. They've beaten nobody. I think Texas is a fraud. I'll take the Bulldogs, laying the 6. They'll win by a touchdown or more. And I like the game going under. I'm thinking something like 34 to 20, something like, or I'm sorry, 24 to 20, something like that.
Okay.
Well, 24 to 14, something like that. Do your math, JC.
Yeah, that would make Texas cover, but not. Yeah, the Texas Longhorns, they have not played particularly well in the road environments. We all remember them losing to Ohio State in that first game. And when they played here in the Swamp, they came up short there as well. So I don't really see them coming away between the hedges any easier. I know a few members of the chat, Dan Bond in particular, potentially a few more, said they like Georgia minus 5.5. Yeah. My only pushback on this game is I feel like everybody is on Georgia's side, and it feels like when everybody's on one side, things tend to go the other way. But I don't have any real substantial reason to not go with the Bulldogs. I think they're going to overwhelm Arch Manning, even though this Bulldogs defense is not like the Georgia team from before. Yeah, I think they're going to. Yeah, I think it'll end up being about a 2-touchdown win, and I think Arch is going to look pretty poor.
Let me give you two more home favorites. We have Georgia. It's 5.5. It's also at 6. If you can get 5.5, by all means, get off that key number. Alabama is laying 5.5 to Oklahoma. Alabama 6-2-1 against the spread. Alabama is 77% against the spread at home since 2017. Oklahoma is 5-4 against the spread, coming off an open date. Man, I think Oklahoma is very live in this game if Mateer plays well. But Alabama has had a better defensive effort here in recent weeks. That's a lot of points to lay in what I think will be a close game. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take Alabama minus 5.5. This game basically locks them up for both the playoffs and the SEC championship.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, at the end of the season, Alabama is going to be one of those teams that has a bye week in the playoff. And for that to happen, it feels like you need to win this game. John Mateer, I don't know. We don't really know what's happening. It feels like his hand is probably back, but it's still one of those you don't really know what version of the team you're going to get. It feels like when we open up Alabama, we know what team we're getting every week. And then they're kind of back to having that standard of football. So, yeah, 5.5 points is a decent amount, but I think they can win by a touchdown.
I think you can also look at the under 45. Another quick game before we scoot over to the NFL real quick. Southern Cal minus 6.5 at home against Iowa. This is a 3:30 game at the Coliseum. Under Lincoln Riley, Southern Cal has averaged 44 points in home games. This includes 36 points per game in the Big Ten. The fewest they have scored versus Big Ten opponents at home is 28 points. I don't think Iowa can keep up with that. Now, they're a better offensive team, but they are going to be able to keep up with Southern Cal. I think Southern Cal is an easy 6.5-point winner or more in this game at home. So to recap, Michigan State, Northwestern, South Florida, Georgia, Pitt, USC, Alabama, Mississippi, and Northwestern, I said that. So if I'm missing somebody, just rewind it.
And before we move on, here are the national championship odds for the SEC schools. And as we can see, there's actually two Big Ten teams floating around that are a little bit higher than all of them.
So Ohio State is 2-1, Indiana is 5-1. I don't like either one of those. But in the SEC, you can get Texas A&M at 7.5 to 1. You can get Georgia at over 10 to 1 at 11 to 1. Then you go down from there. I'll tell you this: if Oklahoma beats Alabama, 60 to 1 will go down to 30 to 1. But 60 to 1 is not a bad number to throw some pizza money on. And if Texas beats Georgia, they are absolutely live, and that number will go from 30 down to 15, guaranteed. Thank you for that graphic. Let's take a quick look at some NFL plays as we are blowing through this 25 minutes here on Win with JC every Thursday. If you want to help out our show, give us a call. Give Freddie Wiebe a call, and he will look, we're trying to get more time. We'll try to get more time. If we can get more time, we can include more people. We can get more people on here and maybe bring on some listeners as well. But with the 25 minutes we have, this is what we got, and this is how we're rolling. What do you have for the National Football League? I tell you, we got bombed last week in the NFL. It was a freak weekend. It was a flukish type of weekend. I saw one game that really stood out to me, and that was the Denver game. Once again, all defense, no offense. This is a home game for the Broncos. They are getting points. They are getting points. They are +4 or 3.5 to 4, somewhere in that neighborhood. and the total is 44.5. I like Denver in the NFL. I don't know really why the Broncos can't score. They've got a quarterback that's coming back from last year, having a great year. But Kansas City is a team that's beatable. This will be a low-scoring game, and I'm taking the under in the Denver-KC game.
Yeah, I like under 44. Man, I really feel like I want to go with Kansas City on that one just because I feel like they're trending in an upward direction, whereas Denver, they keep winning, but they're winning ugly, if that's the thing in the NFL. They're kind of trending in a not so great offensively, at least trending in that direction. So I don't love the hook though. It feels like Kansas City almost always wins by a field goal or less, but I think I would go with Kansas City on that one.
The game of the week is Sunday night in Philadelphia. It's a great contrast between offense and defense. The Lions offensively are really starting to kick in.
They are.
The Eagles defensively are just a monster. And, I noticed how they hammered Green Bay on the defensive side of the ball. Philadelphia has offensive problems, though. This game is 2.5. This is too close. I'm going to stay away from this one unless I'm really rolling on Sunday. And if so, I'll probably lean toward the home team here because the Eagles just seem to find ways to win. If the number's under 3, I like that. You have a call on that game?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Eagles, particularly because it's a home game. The Detroit Lions, their offensive production gets cut, not quite in half, but cut down substantially when they play in an outdoor game, not in a dome.
Yeah.
Jared Goff in particularly plays poorly, and the Eagles' pass rush is going to be getting after them. The Eagles, top to bottom, still have one of the best rosters in the whole National Football League, so I do like the Philadelphia Eagles in the primetime game.
Well, against the spread, they're one of the better teams. Both teams are. The Eagles are 6-3 against the spread this year. The Lions are 6-3 against the spread this year. This is a very difficult game. Another great game out west, Seattle and LA in the NFC West. Both teams are 7-2 against the spread. The Rams, with their 3 tight end offense, just dominated San Francisco. It was a beautiful sight to see. And the Rams are at home playing the Seahawks. The Seahawks are really kicking it in defensively under Mike McConnell. I don't know, man. This is another one of those very difficult games. If you're getting points, you take them. And Seattle getting 3.5 sounds pretty good to me. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rams win by a touchdown. Yeah. But I would probably take Seattle if I had to bet it.
Yeah, in general, I love the Rams. Matthew Stafford's been having an MVP-like season.
Yes,
but the Seattle Seahawks, I feel like every time I look over at their game, they're up by 30. They're up. They're just blowing teams out left and right. I feel like a mediocre team doesn't get that many blowouts. This is a team that's going to be looking to make a push in the playoffs, and they're going to have to get some wins in the division to do that. And if you're telling me that I can get 3 points with that team, I will take the Seahawks as well.
Here's a total for you that I like, over 48.5. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Neither team is playing very good defense particularly. Pittsburgh did play some good defense 2 weeks ago. Then they go out to L.A. and they lose because their offense is just horrendous. So why do I like the over? Because Cincinnati refuses to tackle anybody, and because Cincinnati, believe it or not, can actually score points. This is a divisional game. It's a rivalry game. I think we're going to see a total go over 48.5 in that one.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has only hit over 400 yards 3 times in the past 3 years, and 2 of those games have been against the Cincinnati Bengals. These teams just don't stop each other. There's Joe Burrow has been practicing. I don't think he's necessarily going to come back and play. Yeah, he's not going to play. If he were to play, that number would be even higher, but I mean, Joe Flacco has been tearing the Steelers up for 25 years. I don't see why he's going to stop now. So, yeah, I also the over is the side of this game that I like the most as well.
And the wide receivers are healthy with Cincinnati as well. Yes. They'll catch many passes. Quickly, before we wrap it up, Tampa Bay and Buffalo. The Bucks still with all the injuries. It's a never-ending story with these guys and the injuries. It's too bad. But Buffalo, what the hell was that last week in Miami? But they are at home. They're laying 5.5. Is that too many for you? Buffalo and Tampa.
Yeah, that's one of those games that makes my stomach hurt looking at that. I can't like decide. It feels like with that being the case, you just take the team that's getting the 5.5 and you hope for the best. But yeah, Buffalo. It seems like it could be one of those prime bounce back. Like they just got embarrassed on the road. Now they're back at home. It feels like it's one of those games where Josh Allen's going to end up with 5 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just talked myself into the Bills. I know I said Buccaneers at first, but I think the Bills bounce back big, and they take it to the Buccaneers, who are still battling all the injuries.
All the injuries. And they're very good at home, Buffalo. Well, that's
Yes.
about it. I mean, it's amazing how quickly time flies. If you want to help this show out, maybe we can extend the show with some financial support. Freddie Wiebe is the guy to call here, 352-284-3733. If we have more time, we'll have more interaction. 352-284-3733. Give Freddie a call and see how you can help Win with JC. We're trying to help you make money every Thursday, Zach and I. We will bring in Brian Edwards on occasion as well from Vegas. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. We had a lot of college games. Go back from the beginning. We'll rewind and give you more. You can watch again what we think is going to happen. And let's have a better week than last. I'll see you again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock with Shane Matthews on PodUp with Matthews in the morning. So until then, good luck with your bets.